Welcome to Cooking with Cleo. Today we are making a butternut squash bisque. This is a perfect recipe for fall. We're gonna have friends over tonight, so we wanted to make something a little more different. So first thing you're gonna do, now many people have different ways of doing this, but this is the way I like to do it. Slice the squash in half, and then we're gonna scoop out the seeds. I just use a spoon. Kind of go around the edges like this. Sorry, just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just like that. All right, so now we take the butternut squash, we put it on a tray with some oil. And you can go ahead and give this a quick brush if you feel so inclined. And then we're going to salt and pepper it. And then we're going to pop it in the oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. This can be done way before dinner time. So our squash is in the oven, and we are going to start cutting the other vegetables for our soup. We're going to be using carrots, onions, and celery. And the carrots are already peeled and washed. And for this soup, it doesn't matter how your knife skills are because it's going to be thrown in the blender in the end. But most of the time you do care about knife skills. And I will be releasing a video about knife skills soon. But we're just going to rough chop these. Doesn't really matter how you chop the carrots, as long as they're roughly the same size, because if they're roughly the same size, then their cooking time will be about the same. So, carrots. Cut our onion now, and like I said earlier, the soup's going to be blended, so it doesn't really matter how we cut the onion, but I'm going to show you how I cut onions in general. So I first cut off the tops and the bottoms, then I cut down the middle, and then I peel the skin off. Whew. All right, so now we're gonna do like a medium dice, roughly. Whew. My eyes are burning. And then I just leave this little nubbin, throw it away. Or put it in a storage container for the next time we make stock. If you saw my stock video, we will be using that stock today in this soup. Oh, my eyes. Ooh. My oil's ready. I'm going to put these directly in the pan or the pot. Ooh. Now I'm going to go wash my hands. We are going to cut our celery. This celery has already been washed. I'm just going to cut the bottoms off. And I might cut the bottom parts in half, just so they're about the same size as all of our other cuts. And again, a nice rough chop on these. Cool. Onions are getting good. It's okay that they're a little brown, but we don't really want them to brown much more. We're going to add some garlic to our pan. Give it a little bit of a stir. And then we're going to add our carrots in, give that a little bit of a stir. So we have our carrots and onions going. We're going to add our celery. If you look at the bottom of our pan, you'll see some browning. That's a lot of flavor in that caramelization right there. So we're going to do something called deglazing the pan. This soup, you could use a white wine. I don't have white wine, so I'm going to add water. And I'm just going to scrape the bottom of the pan as the water helps bring up the flavor. It's easier with a wooden spatula, but here we are. There we go. See, it's coming up there, and then throughout the whole pan we've deglazed. So that's awesome. There are 2 things of chicken stock that we made. I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken stock into the thing. My chicken stock is frozen, but it will melt. Just pulled the squash out of the oven. This is exactly what we want to see. We have some color, but it's not like burned. And once it cools a little bit, we should be able to very easily pull the skin off of the squash. And once we've skinned the squash, we'll cut it into cubes and then prepare the soup. We have cut the squash into large chunks and put it in with our stock mixture. And we're just gonna go ahead and give it a few minutes to finish cooking in some of the larger middle parts. It's definitely my least favorite part, but it's what makes the soup the soup. We are going to take we're going to take a measuring cup and ladle it into a blender and blend the soup together. And I have some chicken stock off to the side in case we need a little extra, because we definitely might need that, but we'll see. So just taking it and putting it directly into our blender. It's going to be messy, it's hot, so be careful. Then we go ahead and blend. I like starting on medium. So you see, we have this bit that's not really blending, so we're just going to mix that into it. And if it looks like it's not got enough stock, go ahead and add it, but I think we do have enough. We just kind of need to mix it. So you can see this consistency is a little bit thicker than we wanted, but that is okay because we still have a lot of stock left in our pot and we still have a second batch to do. So we're going to go ahead and take this out and then put it in a different pan or pot, sorry. And then we will blend the next half. Consistency is a little thicker than I wanted, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of chicken stock, not too much though, because we are going to use milk to finish it off, and we'll just go ahead and blend this in until it's totally emulsified. Still not quite where I want it. We're adding some more stock. Might add even more chicken stock, which is gonna mean we're gonna have to adjust our seasoning a little bit, which is also okay. So some chefs in this recipe would tell you to use white pepper because white pepper won't be seen. You can see the flecks of black pepper in my soup, and that is considered gross to some chefs, or not gross, but like not as presentable. And so that is something to keep in mind. If you are really worried about presentation, I'm not really worried about presentation, but that's just me. Okay, so now we're getting that beautiful soup creamy consistency. We'll add a little more stock here. And I think we're about there. Because this soup is supposed to be creamery, you know, it's not supposed to be like total broth, you know, it's supposed to be a little thick. So I like this consistency. I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna adjust our seasonings because we added so much stock. I'm using salt, cayenne pepper, and this is a little out there, but I think it really adds something for that fall flavor. This is pumpkin pie spice, and yeah, I know it's a little out there. We don't add a ton, just enough. Okay, so you can see not a lot's going in. I'm gonna add some cayenne because I like it to have a little bit of heat to it. I'd probably add more if it were just Nathan and I, but we're cooking for other people too. And then, of course, some salt. The people we were cooking for ended up showing up and I didn't have time to take a photo. So this is a picture created by AI of what your butternut squash soup might look like in the end. Go ahead and serve with breadsticks, top with pumpkin seeds, croutons. You could do mascarpone, anything really, or you can just serve it plain. I served it plain and it turned out great. Thank you for watching this Cooking with Cleo, and I'll see you next time.